Hey, what's up, everybody? So I kind of wanted to talk about my personal experience with, quote, bodybuilding. Obviously, I'm not what you think of as a bodybuilder. I just define it as anybody that's building their body, doing just that, going into the gym and trying to get in better shape. For me, I always just liked going into the gym. I played a lot of sports, but I always liked just being in the gym and lifting weights and initially trying to just get stronger and set new records for myself. And then obviously it's pretty motivating to me to see the physical change and notice how it's working. More than any other sport, it just came on pretty rapidly, and it's just something I've been into. Regardless, though, I would do it because of just a concern for overall health, and I want to live a long life, and I want my quality of life to be good. Not only for myself, but for everybody that depends on me and cares about me too. And it's just it's something to, in the middle of my day, it's kind of like a mental escape for half an hour to an hour, to just kind of live in the moment and be present and kind of ignore all the other bullshit in your life. And how I got involved in competing it was really never anything I set out to do. A lot of people do, and that's awesome. For me, I didn't have anything to prove, and it's not a part of my career path or my income source, so there was no opportunity for financial gain or anything like that. For me, it's kind of just a void in my life because I had always been pretty competitive in sports, at least through high school. In high school, I played baseball and football and ran track and cross country, and but I played every sport really, and so it's kind of just a goal-setting thing, a way to push myself, and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I've built as much size as I ever will. I'm not going to get any bigger, and I've been about as lean as you can be, and so where else do you go from that? Well, you can kind of build up your weak body parts, and I've done that, and I'm always continuing to do that and just improve the balance and the symmetry. And so kind of, where else do you go? So I decided to compete, and it's just kind of the weirdest thing ever for me, honestly. It's really just not my thing. The competition is just not going up there in briefs and spray tan, and it's kind of an interesting, weird thing. But I've got to say it was really a cool thing to just really get out of my comfort zone and get out of the box. And in those moments, for me, that's when I'm really kind of living. You're just so in the moment, and it's just such an awkward situation, so you kind of see how you respond. And I will say I've certainly just met some awesome people in the industry and fellow competitors, and one thing they really all have in common is just such a positive attitude, and they're not victims. They believe they have control over their own lives, and they take responsibility, and they let their actions speak, and they're not entitled. And so I really find that attractive, and it bleeds into so many other aspects of life, obviously, if you've got that kind of mentality and that attitude. And so coming from totally different backgrounds and having totally different interests and all that, we still have that in common. And if you've been through that, you've pushed yourself to a level that like no human being has. So you have something in common with them that you can't talk to anybody about that. Who else is weighing out grams of food for 365 days a year and not drinking and just, you know, living such a Spartan lifestyle. And it, you know, it doesn't have to be crazy, and I'm certainly no Mr. Olympia. I don't live my life that extreme at all. But to get to those levels of body fat and to have built up that much muscle and everything, it takes immense dedication. And probably the hardest thing I've done in athletics beyond this is distance running. I used to run track and cross country distance, and that's just so tough. It's just such a mental thing. It really is. It's like 90% mental, because, you know, physically you're running a few 4-minute miles strung together, in my case, and that's tough, of course, but it's like your body's just begging you to stop. You're just sucking air, and you just want to drop out of the race so bad, and your body is wanting that. And so it was brutal, but you could still eat whatever you wanted because you're burning through that. And it's different. With bodybuilding, it's not like baseball or basketball or football or whatever. You have to be on it 24/7. You have to get your sleep. You have to eat. You have to mealtime. I mean, you have to hit your meals at the right times. You have to eat properly 24/7, 365. You've got to train all the time. And nothing else is that demanding. I mean, the daily doubles in football, you know, whatever, brutal stuff, but it's nowhere near as difficult. And so that kind of level of pain, you know, if somebody's on stage, you've went through that. I mean, you're not going to go up on stage and not present a really great physique. You know, for men, if you're like 7-8% body fat, you're the fat ass up there. You really are. You're like, you shouldn't be up there. You're twice as fat as everyone else, and so it's crazy. But there's just a lot of respect that I've got for anybody that does it. The bikini girls, or the true hardcore bodybuilders, or people like me that are just kind of more in the fitness modeling section of it. But that's kind of a bit about my, you know, progression and my motivation and why I do it. And I just think it's a cool thing. I've posted before, but there's an Arnold quote explaining why he did it back in the day, and it just really hits home with me. It's like that it's just a status symbol, having a good body. It takes constant dedication. I don't remember exactly what he says, but it's like you've got to constantly work to keep it. You know, you can't buy it, you can't inherit it. It's a reflection of your character and your discipline and your work ethic and self-respect and a lot of that stuff, and that's so true. So anyway, it's a bit about it from me, and I'd love to hear what got you into it, and what inspires you, and what motivates you to continue doing it.